Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to scan documents by creating an Android plugin for Godot game engine. So basically we will be creating an Android plugin to scan documents in Godot game engine. So let's get started. So firstly I will show you guys the output quickly. So here you can see I have my device, real device. Okay, I'll move this a little bit. Okay, and for this document scanning I'm using a library from MLKit document scanner. So this library is from Google themselves, so we don't have to worry too much about it. Here you can see this is my real device. This is this is the document. Okay, so you can take a real document as well, and I will just click on the scan button, and we don't have to give any permissions. It is managed automatically, and here you can see it is auto capturing. So I haven't pressed the click button, it has automatically captured it for me. My camera is little bad because I'm using a cheap Android device, but yours might be better. Now you can scan multiple documents, but for now I have just kept it one, just for simplicity's sake. And if I click on done, here you can see the image we got. So I'll just do it for one more image. So I'll just click over here, I'll click on scan, and here you can see like we get the manual auto capture. If you want to manually capture it, you can go to this manual I don't know option as well, but I'll keep it auto capture, and here I will try to select this, and here you can see it is pretty good. Like it is still in beta, but it is still pretty good. You can crop and rotate, filter, clean, retake, delete as well, but I'll leave that up to you. I'll just click on done, and here you can see this is our image. So let's see how to do this. There is one more thing which I want to show you later on for PDF as well, but yeah, I'll come back to that later. Don't want to confuse you guys. So first, from the Godot documentation itself, I have created a cheat sheet. You can just search on Google for Godot Android v2 plugin, and it like most of the code which I have in my cheat sheet is from the Godot documentation. Also, at the time of this recording, I am using Godot 4.3.0, so that is important, because based on that I will be using the Godot plugin library. But don't worry, even if you are using higher version, I don't think there would be any breaking changes. You just have to change the Godot build Gradle version, which I will tell you shortly. So given that we have to create an Android plugin, we obviously you will obviously need Android Studio. So I'm not covering that Android Studio setup. Okay, so you can check the Android documentation for that. So once you have Android Studio, just create an Android project. It can be an empty views project or Jetpack Compose project. You will see an option for that. Just create one project, and you should see something like this. Something like this. So this might take little bit of time because the Gradle syncing do take little bit of time. Okay, once you have something like this, you won't see this my library folder, but you will see this app as well as Gradle script. And if you don't see it, make sure you select the Android drop down. Again, this might take little bit of time for the Gradle syncing. Once you do that, just right click, new module, select Android library, and name it whatever you want. I have named it as my library. As you can see, it is not allowing me to create another library because I have a library with that name already. And here you can change the package name to whatever you feel like. Then just click on finish. Again, because I already have that, it is not allowing me to finish. But here you can see if I change the name to my library one, it is allowing me. Just click on finish. Again, the Gradle syncing might take little bit of time, so be patient. Once that is done, you have to go to this Gradle scripts, open the build.gradle.kts of your library, and here we have to include two dependency. First is the Godot plugin dependency, and second is the MLKit document scanner dependency. Now so as you can see in the Godot plugin documentation, here it tells that include the dependency using something like this, but if you see my dependency, it is like this. This is a newer feature in a newer version of Android Studio where we have to use version catalog. So here what you can do is you can just write something like implementation libs.godot. Okay, then go to this libs.versions.toml. Here you can add the Godot library version which you are using. As like I told you, I am using Godot 4.3.0, that's why I'm using this. Do check on Maven Central. Sometimes what happens is that they might release the Godot engine 4.3.1, but this Gradle version might still be behind. So do check on Maven Central whatever is the latest version. In the documentation, as you can see, it is still behind. They haven't updated the documentation. By the time you watch it, maybe they have. So just add this particular bit of code, and here you only you have to change this particular version depending on your Godot version, Godot game engine version, and here you will have to add this. So this will be the same for everyone, so just copy paste this. Next, coming back to the other dependency is the MLKit document scanner. Now same thing for that as well. If you see over here, if I scroll down, again this library is still in beta, so just click on this Android one, and if I scroll down here, you can see they tell us to add something like this. Again, at the time of me recording, it is 16.0.0 beta 1, but whatever is the latest version at the time of you using it, make sure you use that. So again, for that, what I have done is that inside build.gradle.kts you can import it something like this, and inside libs.versions.toml you will have to add this. Okay, and make sure again you change the version to whatever is the latest version at the time of you recording or writing. And make sure here, as you can see, I'm using the play services MLKit document scanner. Again, this has been copied from docs, as you can see over here, this entire thing, and here we just write the reference the version number which we have written over here. Okay, so hopefully you got the point. Then just click on sync now. You might be seeing a sync now at the top right over somewhere over here. Just click on it, it will download all the dependencies for you. Again, that might take little bit of time, so be patient. Alright, so once that is done, you will have to go to your library folder, go to Kotlin plus Java, and here you just have to right click new Kotlin class file and just name it as Godot Android plugin. I have already created it. Now I will firstly show you the code. First, these are all the imports, so make sure you copy paste all these imports which I have. Okay, so these are all the imports. So firstly, this is our Godot Android plugin which is extending from Godot plugin. Here we create the options for our document scanning. So page limit I have set it to 2, gallery import I have kept it as false. These are the result formats, so I am using JPEG as well as PDF. I have only shown you JPEG, PDF I will show you later on. And here I have set the scanner mode, I have built it as well. Then here we are doing the GMS document scanning, the .get client options. This is not an Android dictionary, this is a Godot dictionary, so that's what the import is. Be careful with this. And here is our result code. Now ignore this code for now, like I'll come back to that later on. Here I have overriding this get plugin name method, and I am writing the plugin name as my plugin, but maybe you can write a better name. Do remember this plugin name because we will be using this in lot other places as well. Then I have written a method called scan document, and here we are just doing scanner.get start scan intent. Here we pass our activity, so the activity can be null, that's why we are writing something like this. And here is our success listener. Once we get the intent sender, now here comes the tricky part. So the problem with the Godot Android plugin is it is still using this deprecated method called on main activity result, actually, which is deprecated in Android. But and the alternative to that is this scanner launcher, register for activity result. But unfortunately we can't use register for activity result because that can be only be used inside an activity or a fragment. Like this activity and fragment are native Android terms. In case if you don't understand, ignore it. So that's why I have commented out all the code. Even in the documentation it specifies to use register for activity result, but unfortunately, at least at the time of me recording, we can't use register for activity result. That's why I have to use on main activity result. And if suppose if you are using register for activity result, like in future versions of Godot, if that is possible, then make sure you don't have to write this. Okay, you can just comment out this, uncomment this, and you can just uncomment this entire bit of code. Okay, so yeah, but for now unfortunately we can't use it. That's why I have to use something like this. Once we launch it, it goes to our camera preview. to scan a document, and once it has been scanned properly we come over here, but in this on register for activity result we come over here. This entire code remains the same on main activity result as well as in register for activity result, but yeah, again I don't want to confuse you guys too much. So here is the start intent sender, which will call our open our camera, and in failure I'm just displaying a toast message. If you want you can send a signal back to Godot side as well. So this will get called once the photo has been captured properly. So here I am passing this request code over here as well, so that's how I'm checking if we have the proper request code, and if the result is okay as well, then we just get the doc result. Okay, we can get multiple pages, but for now simplicity sake I'm just getting the, I was scanning only the one page, right? That's why I'm getting the first page image URI only. But in your case, if you are doing for multiple pages, you will have to loop using something like this. That's why I have commented this out. So here, as again, just to repeat, I have purposefully hard coded the index as 0 because I only care about the first page. Then here, once we have the image URI, we need to get the bitmap. So for this I have created a method, I will show you shortly. Once we have the bitmap, we need to convert it to byte array. So for that also I have created a method which I will show you shortly. Once that is done, we just get this particular we use this image dictionary. The reason why we are using this image dictionary is because we need to send this particular data back to the Godot side. Okay, and once we send that particular data back to Godot side as a form of dictionary, we can just emit that particular signal. All right, now ignore this PDF stuff for now. I'll come back to that PDF stuff later. And inside the else clause, again I am displaying a toast message. Here we again override this particular method, and here we add the signal info of image. So same signal name I am using over here as well, while sending the byte array buffer from dictionary. Okay, now I'll just scroll down a little. So again just copy paste this. Again here, if you want to send a signal, you can do that for error messages. So this is for converting our URI to bitmap, and this is for converting the bitmap to a byte array. Now again coming back to alright, so I think hopefully you got the point. Now we have to go to Android manifest. So I'll just open here manifest, android manifest.xml. again I have copy pasted this from the documentation, so you can just copy paste this from the documentation. Only thing is this should be your plugin name. So if you remember, we have written the plugin name over here, so my plugin, that's what I am using over here as well, and this should be the package name. So that's what I am using over here. So this is our package name. So make sure you write your own package name followed by the class name, which is Godot Android plugin. Next we have to go to the project drop down, and inside your library folder create a folder called export scripts template. So you can just create a right click directory, name it as export scripts template. Inside that you have to create two files. So right click new file, name it as export_plugin.gd, and the second one plugin.cfg. So plugin.cfg, again I have copy pasted this from the documentation. This should be your plugin name, rest change it to whatever you feel like. Again this is important, don't change it. So here is our export plugin.gd. again I have copy pasted this from documentation, so I'll just simply scroll through this. Important part is this should be your plugin name, and we also have to override this get android dependency method. So because we need to include this document scanner dependency inside our app, so that's what I have done over here. Again this version should match whatever you have defined inside your libs.versions.toml. so if I go back to my Android drop down, this libs.versions.toml, so 16.0.0 beta 1. so over here as well I am using that particular thing, as well as over here. Okay, so this is done. Next let me check my cheat sheet quickly. Okay, so I have told you this. Then you have to run this gradle.gradlew assemble command. So what you can do is go to your Godot project, Android project, sorry. So here you can see inside my Godot folder, this is my Android project. So you will have to cd to your Android project and then just run this .gradle/gradle wassemble. Once you do that, if you go to your so I'll quickly run this. If you go to your Android project, go to your library, build, outputs, AR, and here you should see 2 AR files being generated. Now you just create your Godot project like I have created. Okay, so I have created a simple Godot project. Okay, so the next thing is just go to project, click on install Android build template, and I have already installed the Android build template. If you haven't installed it, you might see a download button. Just click on download and then click on install. It will automatically do the stuff for you. Then go to project, export, click on add Android. I have already added it. At the bottom you might see an error and with a button called fix import over here. Okay, just click on that fix import button, and here you have to check this use Gradle build option. Here you will have to check the architecture for which you are trying to run your app, on which device you are trying to run, Android device. If you don't know, just select for all 4 of this. Okay, then I think that should be it. Then here inside your directory, just create a folder called add-ons. Inside that, create a folder with your plugin name. So as you know, my plugin name is just my plugin, and inside that create a folder called bin. Inside bin, create 2 folders, debug and release. Now inside this my plugin folder, you have to copy paste these 2 files, export_plugin.gd as well as plugin.cfg. so just copy paste these 2 files which we had created inside our Android project over here, export_plugin.gd and plugin.cfg. Then if you remember, we had created these 2 AR files inside our Android project library folder, right? So you will have to go to your Godot project, inside bin, debug, copy the debug AR file to the debug folder. I have already done that, and you will have to rename it to my plugin-debug.ar. Similarly for release as well, just copy the or cut paste this release file to the release folder and rename it as my plugin-release.ar. Then you will have to go to project settings, go to plugins, and here you have to make sure you check this particular checkbox. If you don't see this, then most probably you have made some error over here, or this particular file as well, this one, export_plugin. So make sure the indentation is correct. Once that is done, if you see my UI, I just have one button as well as texture rect, and for texture rect I have used this fit width as well. Also the orientation I have kept it as portrait, so in case if you want to check that, just go to project settings and general. Here you can just search for window. Here set the width as 400, height as 1200, and here the orientation is portrait. Okay, then if you see, here is our button, and here on click of it, I have assigned this particular on press signal as well. So if you see my so I have attached one script to it, and here you can see I have attached this on button press signal as well. Okay, then if you see here, we just get hold of our texture rect. This is our plugin name. Here is our Android plugin. So on ready, we are initializing our Android plugin. We are also registering our signal. So once we get this signal, we get image request method get called, image request completed method get called. So here you can see, once we have the image, we just create a new image from that data. Given that we only have one thing inside that dictionary, we just get it and call load jpeg from buffer. And if there is no error as such, then we just create an image texture and assign it to our texture rect. And on button click, we just call the scan document method, which we have defined it on the Godot side, on the native Android side, sorry. Now let me quickly go through to check. Now there was something called editor settings as well previous version of Godot. Like I don't see it over here, in which we have to add this debug key as well as Android SDK part. Typically the debug key for a Mac is located on this particular path. I'm not sure if they will add it again back in Godot 4.3.1 or not, or future versions, because in 4.2.0 I was facing lot of issues regarding the path, and I had to set the path correctly. Again, I'm not sure if Godot 4.3.0 automatically detects the path based on Android Studio, or is there something else. Again, I'm not really sure. Also, there was this previous issue related to JDK path as well. If you are facing that, you can refer to this particular documentation as well. And I'm using Wi-Fi for remote debugging. I won't go into that, but yeah, if you don't understand it, just connect your Android device via USB. Alright, so that's it for the code. Now there is one more thing which I want to show you, the PDF part. So for the PDF part, again, for this register for activity result also I have given the PDF part. It is the same thing. So for the PDF part, what we'll have to do, we'll have to comment this particular thing out. Okay, because we won't be displaying the PDF, because currently, at least at the time of me recording, it's not possible to embed a PDF view, like the native Android PDF view, inside a Godot scene. Like you can create a separate screen like a native Android activity and then show it in a new activity, but I think that won't make sense a lot. Yeah, so just for simplicity, what I'm doing is that once we get the data in PDF format, because if you remember at the top, I'm also want the format to be PDF format. So if you get, so here you can do something like this, doc result.pdf. Here we get the PDF URI, then we get the external URI, and once we have that, I'm just sharing it on WhatsApp or whatever you feel like the share sheet will open. So you just have to write this particular bit of code if you want this functionality. I think most people would like this image functionality itself. Not many people would like this functionality of PDF, but anyways, I want to show it to you. Now there is one more thing which you have to do. So given that we have changed this native code, we again have to run this .gradlew.assemble, and once that is done, so I'll just wait for it to be completed. Okay, so here it is done. Now I'll just have to copy this file. Okay, I'll just then I'll just delete this older one. I'll rename it my plugin.release. I'll go to the debug folder as well. I'll copy this. Okay, and I'll delete this one, and I'll rename this as my plugin-deb. Okay, so now there is one more thing which you have to do. Given that we are sharing this, like sharing in Android for a PDF is a little bit more complicated. So what you will have to do is inside your Godot project, you will see this Android folder. Go to build Android manifest.xml, and here firstly you will have to add this bit of code. Now some of you might be wondering why can't we add this provider inside the Android manifest of our library. I have tried doing that. It was causing a lot of errors. I couldn't really figure it out, so that's why I have added it over here. Make sure you add this entire bit of code only if you want that PDF related thing. Otherwise we don't require this for images, because we are just sending the image back to Godot side. We are not really sharing the image. If you are sharing the image as well, then you would have to write this bit of code. So once one of this thing is this, so just copy paste it. Then other part is you will have to go to res. Here you will have to create a folder called xml. Inside that, create a file called file_patch.xml, and inside that you have to again copy paste this bit of code. So these are the two things. Now once that is done, I will just quickly run my app again and come back with the output. Okay guys, so as you can see, here is our scan button. I'll just open this particular image. Okay, I'll just scroll over here. I'll click on the scan button, and here is our camera. I will scan this. It will auto capture it for me, and if I click on done now, here you can see that it has automatically shown a share sheet for me. So yeah, that's what this particular tutorial is all about. Again, I'll just like I don't like this PDF one, so I'll just comment this out. I really like the image one, so I'll just comment this out and uncomment this. Okay, and again I'll have to run this .gradlew.assemble, and I'll have to swipe those particular files. So hopefully you got the idea on how to achieve this. Thank you for watching. Bye.